Wow, we just got new footage of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson describing how Donald Trump wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, despite them having no plan to replace it whatsoever. Admittedly, Donald Trump admitted on the debate stage he only has concepts of a plan, and this is after 10 years of campaigning on the national stage. But it really feels like the Harris campaign is getting clip after clip after clip of the Trump campaign self-destructing over the past few days. Of course, the campaign has been on a downhill slope for a while, but since the Madison Square Garden rally, every single clip that has come out has gotten worse and worse, whether it's Tucker Carlson or Tony Hinchcliffe, whether it's somebody telling Mehdi Hasan that his beeper shouldn't go off, or whether it's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson admitting that Republicans plan to strip healthcare away from millions and millions of Americans. And for a little bit of a personal anecdote, I have family members, young family members. My uncle is 33, and the Affordable Care Act saved his life many times, and he relies on it. So Donald Trump not only wants to hurt people like him, but millions of Americans, tens of millions of Americans across the country, with the help of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. So it's 6 days to go. Let's boost this extremely important story. Almost an October surprise, but we knew these people wanted to do this for a while now. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you watch until the end. And before we break this down, I do want to show you guys the exact moment that John McCain saved the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, before he passed away. This man is a real patriot who puts country over party.
Mr. Portman. Mr. Reed.
Thank you.
John McCain walks in.
Mr. Peters.
Wait for the reaction. You hear an audible gasp, and the entire room was frozen for a second, and you see the congressman over on the left holding their breath.
Mr. Peters.
Visibly disappointed that they didn't get to strip healthcare away from millions of Americans without a plan to replace it. That is the big highlight we have to put right here. They have no plan to replace it when they're saying crazy stuff like this. This article reads, Trump says he has concepts of a healthcare plan. What we know about his policies, spoiler alert, we don't know anything because Trump hasn't given us any information about his so-called healthcare plan over the past 9 or 10 years. Healthcare was one of the topics at the forefront of Tuesday night's debate between Donald Trump and VP Kamala Harris. Trump said he was interested in replacing the Affordable Care Act, as he's tried to do, as he's talked about for a while, as he campaigned on back in 2015, 2016, but implied that he doesn't have any specific plans in place. Quote, Obamacare was lousy healthcare, always was, Trump said. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, we are working on things, we're going to do it and not replace it. When asked if he has an actual plan, he says, if we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, then I would absolutely do it. But if we come up with something, blah, 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 we have concepts of a plan. So Donald Trump very clearly says, if we come up with something. You've been saying that for 9 years, man. You've been saying that a healthcare plan is coming in 2 weeks for years and years. This man is a liar and a con man. And that brings us on to this first video of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson that was leaked. Take a listen.
There's a lot of talk. I mean, healthcare reform is going to be a big part of the agenda. When I say we're going to have a very aggressive first 100 days agenda, we got a lot of things though on the table. But healthcare, that's part. It's the secret. It's the secret. Healthcare reform is not a secret. There's some really important ideas on the table, and we have a docs caucus, the physicians who serve in the House, and they've got a menu of options about this thick. And I think this is part of it, because if you take government bureaucrats out of the healthcare equation and you have doctor-patient relationship, it's better for everybody, more efficient, more effective. That's the free market. Trump's going to be for the free market. You heard a little sample of that last night. We want to take a blowtorch to the regulatory state, okay? Yeah. I mean, these agencies have been weaponized against the people, and it's crushing the free market. It's like a boot on the neck of job creators and entrepreneurs and risk takers. And so healthcare is one of the sectors, but we need this across the board, and Trump's going to go big. I mean, he's only going to have one more term, right? Can't run for re-election. And so he's going to be thinking about legacy, and we're going to fix all these things. And,
no Obamacare?
No Obamacare. Yeah, the ACA is so deeply ingrained. We need massive reform to make this work, and we got a lot of ideas on how to do that.
Okay, so there is a lot of scary stuff in this clip. I don't even know where to start. I first want to begin by saying that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson actually refers to that secret clip. When Donald Trump said on stage, "We have a little secret," Speaker of the House Mike Johnson made a callback to that here, but if you listen closely, he says after that, no, healthcare is not the secret, implying that healthcare isn't the secret they were talking about on stage. There is something deeper and more nefarious going on with the election, but then also, their healthcare plan still is a secret because they haven't released it to the public because it is non-existent. Also, how did I not start off with the fact that he says we want to take a blowtorch to the regulatory state because Trump wants to leave a legacy, a lasting legacy, and Trump's going to do that by appointing people like Elon Musk, who has every incentive in the world to basically make himself richer through our regulatory state, to be dictating the laws. It is absolutely terrifying. Listen to CNN's breakdown after.
Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was campaigning in Pennsylvania in a House district and was talking about Obamacare. I think we have this exchange. Let's play it.
Healthcare reform is going to be a big part of the agenda. When I say we're going to have a very aggressive first 100 days agenda, we got a lot of things on the table.
No Obamacare?
No Obamacare. Yeah, the ACA is so deeply ingrained. We need massive reform to make this work, and we got a lot of ideas on how to do that.
So he says no Obamacare, says massive reform to the healthcare system. Obamacare is pretty popular.
Obamacare is popular, and the thing is, a lot of these policies take years to become popular within the American populace. We see this time and time again. So when Obamacare was first introduced, you can look at the charts, it wasn't that popular at first. In fact, people were a little bit confused, but then as the years go on, especially after Donald Trump tried to repeal it, you can see directly that people start to really value Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act. You can call it either. And the same thing I feel like is going to happen with things like the infrastructure bill that Biden passed. At first, people don't understand it, people don't care about it, but over the next decade, we're going to see these projects pop up, we're going to see the effects of these projects, and we're going to see that it was directly caused by Biden. So I'm hoping we see the same thing over the next decade with some of Biden's policies, because a lot of them do span out over a decade. You don't want a policy that's over after 6 months, but this article reads, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson criticizes Obamacare, promises massive reform if Trump wins, but remember, he says we have a lot of ideas, but he keeps it very vague. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson took a dig at Obamacare at an event in Pennsylvania on Monday, saying there would be massive healthcare changes. And listen to this. Johnson made his remarks 8 days before a presidential election in which Kamala Harris and Democrats are campaigning on protecting and expanding the ACA. Trump, who has tried and failed to wipe out the ACA as president, has called for reopening the fight, saying on his social media platform that, quote, Obamacare sucks. He has vowed to replace it, but without offering specifics, saying only that he has concepts of a plan. It's beyond parody, honestly. Harris insists that Trump's plan is to undo the ACA, and that is it. That is literally it. Take healthcare away from 50 million people, then act like it never existed in the first place while all of your MAGA sycophants beneath you defend you, and while you actually strike the most vulnerable of your voter base. And again, the double standards between people like Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is mind-blowing. People don't even expect Donald Trump to have policy. When it comes to healthcare, he has concepts. When it comes to abortion, he has a new idea on the 6-week abortion ban every single day. When it comes to Ukraine, he says, that's top secret, I can't tell you. Meanwhile, VP Harris has actual plans on all of those things, plus economic plans, plus plans to kick Putin's ass, to kick Xi Jinping's ass, to make America more competitive on the global scale, whether it is with the military or our education. Now, of course, Johnson didn't detail what changes he would seek, but he made it clear that deregulation would be a part of it. Quote, we want to take a blowtorch to the regulatory state. That is terrifying right there. Now, Senator Tom Cotton, who is running to be the number 3 GOP leader in the next Congress, has called for tackling a major healthcare overhaul and extending the Trump tax cuts in one big bill in 2025, which leads you to wonder, how are they going to extend tax cuts without cutting entitlements or healthcare? Oh wait, they want to cut your healthcare so they can put tax cuts on large corporations. Any major rollback of the Affordable Care Act would require Republicans to win the presidency and control both chambers of Congress, as Democrats would be all but certain to block such an effort, as they should, because that reflects the will of the American people. We don't want our healthcare stripped away. I want to show you VP Harris responding to a question about President Biden's comment about Trump supporters being garbage, which I fully support.
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
That is a real leader. She strongly disagrees on criticizing people based on who they vote for, and we know that somebody like this would never withhold aid towards a red state in the same way that Trump did with blue states. This one final tweet from Matthew Gertz, not Matthew Gates, but Matthew Gertz, said, "Stakes coming in focus over the last 24 hours. RFK Jr. says Trump promised me control of the HHS and AG. 2. Trump confirms that he's giving Elon Musk permission to cut up to $2 trillion in spending. And 3, Mike Johnson says they'll kill Obamacare." An absolutely insane 24 hours. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a video. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.